to speak to you all about access consciousness. Basically, it's something that's been around for about 20 years. It was developed in California by a gentleman named Gary Douglas. And access consciousness is really about becoming more conscious. And how would that affect our lives, or why would that be interesting to become more conscious? From my interesting point of view, the way I perceive access consciousness and I use it is reality, as we probably all might understand it, is unity. It's oneness. And the way we interact with that unity through as finite beings, through our thoughts, feelings, and emotions, we create duality. For example, if we take a concept like time, placing our judgment on time creates a separation and creates night and day, minutes and seconds, or whatever way we would like to interact with it, that creates a non-unity or a duality in time. And the purpose of access consciousness are tools and processes for, we just lost somebody, I think, tools and processes for learning how to take those judgments or those thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are creating duality and begin to dissolve them and allowing what has been duality to flow more into unity. And why would that be useful? Well, very often our thoughts, feelings, and emotion creating the dualistic life that we're all living fixes things in space and time in a way that's maybe not the way we'd like to be living or seeing things or having things happen in our life. So by allowing ourselves to remove the judgments or to release the thoughts, feelings, and emotions we have in relation to any aspect of our lives, we begin to release the physical aspects of our lives, the way we've locked into this time-space continuum, and to release that so that it's much more fluid and much more malleable, and we can actually be much more able to create what we'd like to see in our lives. So access consciousness has 2 or 3 different ways of working. The easiest way of work, or the initial way that we learn working with access consciousness, is something called the bars. And the bars is a physical, hands-on process that uses very light contact on 32 specific points on the head. And the awareness that Gary Douglas has, the founder of Access, is that within our brain, we develop a certain type of electromagnetic charge that builds up in relation to the judgments or the thoughts and feelings and emotions we have in relation to particular subjects or particular aspects of our life. For example, money, control, creativity, healing, body, sexuality, sadness, joy, form and structure. All of these different aspects of our lives, we build up a certain type of electromagnetic charge that locks us into a certain way of seeing things or certain patterns of thinking and behaving. And with access bars, what we're doing is making light contacts on the skull, on the cranium, and what we're doing is dissipating the charge that's been built up in relation to that particular area. So we could take it, for example, the area of money. Money is something that's very interesting for lots of people these days. And holding the bar related to money, we can begin to dissipate the charge and release the judgments or the thoughts and feelings and emotions we have in relation to money that locks us into a certain way of interacting with it. For example, you might have been taught at some point in your life that money is bad, or that rich people are terrible, or that, what is too much money, or what is not enough money. We all have thoughts, feelings, and emotions in relation to these sort of aspects of our life, using money as an example. So by holding the bar related to money, we can dissipate that charge and begin to release that judgment that we have in relation to money. And releasing that judgment allows us to open up to many more possibilities in how we can relate to money and how money in a certain way can relate to us. That's the very basic principle of access. A bars session is performed by a bars practitioner. It's someone who's taken the class. The class is very simple and easy to learn. It's a class of usually 6 to 8 hours, depending on the facilitator. And I think Don, some other people have done the class. Most have just finished the class. And what's amazing to me about taking a bars class is people who come to it with any range of experience. I have people who are very, very experienced and people with very little experience, and they're able to walk away from the class with something that works for them and works for the people they use it on. One of the things that allows it to work is, in addition to just learning the 32 points on the head through a video, watching the founder, Gary Douglas, demonstrate, and having guided sessions where you actually give 2-bar sessions and receive 2-bar sessions during the class. The other thing we do is we access verbal processing to help you remove any obstacles or any impediments, judgments that would prevent you from easily learning the material and using it successfully. You know, people might come to the class with a sort of program in their head about, well, you know, I'm not good at learning these sort of things, or I'm not good at using energy, or I've never had any kind of experience, this won't work for me. And so using the access verbal processing, which I'll explain in a minute, we can do is basically wipe away those thoughts, feelings, and emotions that are creating that impediment to actually easily learning and being successful with that technique. Okay. So as an example of verbal processing, basically what we're doing with the verbal processing is we're asking a question. And we're not asking a question of your mind, removing those judgments that are created in a dualistic world that we're all addicted to. And before we actually use it in your day-to-day life, for allowing you to start to dissipate the charge and the judgment we have created in life.